To ensure that fiduciaries act in the best interest of plans and plan participants, they specifically prohibit parties in interest from entering into specific transactions with plans. Many of these transactions are prohibited outright, while others may be entered into if an exemption is available. This module introduces the concept of prohibited transactions, or PTs. PT rules are designed to protect the plan and plan participants. ERISA prohibits parties in interest from the following: dealing with plan assets in their own interest, acting on behalf of the party whose interests are adverse to the interest of the plan, or their participants receiving any consideration from any party dealing with the plan in connection with any transaction involving assets. ERISA definition of plan or party in interest. Basically, it's anyone who may benefit from the plan, but more specifically, any fiduciary, counsel, or employees of the plan, a person providing services to the plan or entity, an employer, and any of whose employees are covered by the plan, and any direct or indirect owner of 50% or more of the employer, a relative or a corporation or a partnership, trust or estate, of which 50% is owned by any of the individuals or entities described above. Also, an organization that's called an employee organization, whose members are covered under the plan, are also considered parties of interest. Now that this is the DOL code, the IRC code also has another similar nomenclature. It's called a disqualified persons with prohibited transactions. The only difference between the two is party and interest is all employees. Disqualified persons under the IRC is only highly compensated. The action step for this document is to complete the documentation module identifying parties of interest in prohibited transactions. The next page shows a chart that might be helpful to you in identifying if an individual or an entity is considered a party in interest. A prohibited transaction occurs if a fiduciary causes the plan to engage in a transaction directly or indirectly with a party in interest. These transactions include any sale, exchange, lease of any property, any loans between a plan and a party of interest, or furnishing any goods or services between a plan and a party of interest that are for the benefit of the party and interest, or any acquisition of employer securities or real property in excess of whatever limits might be set by law. Some examples of prohibited transactions include, and some of these are intuitive and some of them are not: failure to deposit employee deferral contributions in a timely manner is considered a prohibited transaction. Failure to adequately fund the plan participant in default are a PT. Transfer of plan assets to your plan sponsor is obviously a PT. Distribution of assets to an employee without being eligible for a distributable event. Also, payment of unnecessary or unreasonable plan expenses is considered prohibited distribution.